Cherry Brown. I am the ELA specialist for the Hazlehurst City School District. As an educator, I have experienced the struggle of having to teach a room full of diverse learners. This can be very stressful. Through the implementation of small group instruction, I began to notice a difference in my scholars, as well as in myself. Reading became enjoyable. Teacher-led small grouping is used to reduce the differences in the scholars being taught. By the end of this video, you will have a better understanding of how to implement small group instruction within your classroom. So let us go through the process of planning a small group lesson. First, begin by assessing the students to determine instructional reading level. This can be done through DIBELS or STAR. After assessment, you will use this information to help build your groups. Struggling readers will be grouped in groups of 3 to 5 students per group. Students that are on or above level will be grouped with 5 to 7 students per group. Cluster students into groups based on their individual reading levels, their skills, and how they problem solve when reading. Make groups flexible based on scholars' growth and change over time. It's important to select a text that provides the scholars with an opportunity to engage in the reading process. Next, we will plan a schedule for working with small groups and organize materials for groups working independently. You will meet with struggling students daily. Students on grade level will meet 3 times a week. Students above grade level will meet twice a week. Keep in mind that any group scheduled on any given day will meet with you for a minimum of 15 minutes. So now, let us go through the process of completing a small group lesson. Now it's time to plan. First, begin by selecting the text. Here I've selected the text, Carlos Picks a Pet. Remember, the text selected is at each scholar's independent reading level. First, I will begin by looking at the vocabulary that the author has already chosen for this text. After you have determined which vocabulary words to teach using this text, the next thing you need to identify is which comprehension skill and/or strategy you will use while teaching this text. Genre: realistic fiction, comprehension skill and strategy. Character: compare and contrast, monitor, and fix up. In preparation for my lesson, I have specified specific strategies and/or skills that I would like to teach throughout the lesson. Therefore, you will notice that I have placed sticky notes all throughout the text. This will help be a reminder for me to ask these questions or point out specific details when discussing and reading through the text. This is just a sample of various strategies that you can use while working with students. Here I've listed sight words. I will point to the words and have the students echo. Another option would be to place them on strips. If you will notice, these are the same words that you see on this as well as here. The reason for the repetition is to build fluency. All right, boys and girls, I have a new word for you today. The word is shelter. What's the word? Shelter. Now let's stomp it out. Shelter. How many syllables? 2. Very good. What's the word? Shelter. Now I'm going to show you a phrase with the word shelter. The animal shelter. Repeat after me. The animal shelter. Let's read it again. The animal shelter. Let's read it again. The animal shelter. The purpose of this is to help students build fluency. I will continue the same process for all vocabulary that I have selected for this text. Now it's time for your students to begin reading the text. This is where you will introduce the title and the author of the text that you selected. After introducing the title and author of the text, you will complete a picture walk. As you go through the text, remind the students to think about what do they think is happening or going on in the text. After students have completed their picture walk, remember to ask them, what do you think this text will be about? Provide a brief summary of the text. Set the purpose for reading the text. Before students begin reading, remember to review your vocabulary words and also make the connection of how the vocabulary words are connected to what the scholars will be reading. Next, scholars will read in a whisper. They will read at their own pace. Teachers, at this point, you will listen in, using sticky notes to take anecdotal notes and/or running records to observe the scholar during reading. This is a sample of a running record that can be used to observe the scholars during reading. After scholars have completed reading the text, you will review discussion questions. I have listed my discussion questions on sticky notes that I've placed throughout the text. After discussion questions, you may decide to have your students write. In grades K through 1, I will provide a sentence frame. In grades 2 through 3, they will begin to form paragraphs. Teachers, I hope this video has been helpful in helping you plan your small group instruction. Remember, teacher-led small group instruction is vital to a successful year.